AI, cryptocurrency, cybersecurity. And my colleague John Strand is going to join me in a minute as more detailed PowerPoint. I'm just going to make a few observations. We are in a time of transformative change, geopolitically and technologically. Policymakers in Washington and around the world are grappling with these changes while nation states compete against one another. And we compete, as you know, economically, we compete militarily, we compete culturally, we compete in the battle of ideas. And as we compete, I think Congressman Pittenger mentioned this earlier, alliances with our friends or other countries are critical, more critical than ever before. They are important to foster growth, they are important to freedom and human flourishing, and they are important to national security. As a funny question asked, what is national security? The definition, I think, has changed. How do we define that? In today's world, it's not just military security. Industrial capacity is also national security. Investment is national security. Energy is national security. It has been for a long time. And technology is increasingly critical to our national security. So how do we protect our national interest short of open conflict? Do we even recognize the battlefield sometimes? Who has access to natural resources like oil and gas, critical minerals? We'll hear more about that later as well. Who controls those resources? The nations that do have access and control have a clear competitive advantage over those that lack access to those resources. But it's not just natural resources. What's in the earth is technology resources. History is on the side of the innovators. If you don't change, if you don't adapt, if you don't innovate, you lose. You can see that right here. We heard this the last couple of days, yesterday and today, this morning. Under new leadership in El Salvador, the country has changed and adapted and innovated. El Salvador has been an innovator when it comes to digital assets and cryptocurrency. And the country has been an innovator when it comes to law enforcement and public safety. And the people are much better for it. But let me turn back to technology. The most transformative technology today is artificial intelligence, AI. AI is poised to transform industry, society, and geopolitics. And not surprisingly, we have seen a worldwide surge in tech spending and increased competition between the US and China when it comes to AI. At present, the US has a clear lead in the manufacturing of advanced chips, which gives the US an advantage. It also has a financial advantage. In fact, in the first half of this year, US private sector spent over $100 billion on AI. And spent more since then. But China has its advantages too. It has a massive population of very capable engineers, generally a lower cost, and a state-led development model that often moves faster than the US, where decisions are more diffuse. Like the US, China is also spending hundreds of billions of dollars on the country's power grid to support AI training and adoption. And China is ahead of the US in bringing AI into the physical world through robo-taxis, autonomous drones, and humanoid robots. But the point is, leaders in both Washington and Beijing see AI as a revolutionary technology that could easily surpass digital computing and the internet in its potential for disruption. If AI surpasses human intelligence and acquires the ability to improve itself, it could confer unshakable scientific, economic, and military superiority to the country that controls it. But short of that, AI's ability to automate tedious tasks and process vast amounts of data quickly promises to supercharge everything from cancer diagnosis to missile defense. Let me pause for a minute to talk about the hope of AI. how it can benefit each and every one of us. A good example is healthcare. And AI has the potential to revolutionize healthcare by dramatically improving diagnostics. AI-powered algorithms can analyze and detect medical images and patient data to identify patterns and detect diseases earlier and more accurately than we can before that. AI can further analyze large data sets and patient information to identify trends and patterns that may lead to new discoveries of disease prevention and treatment. And it can also assist in drug development by analyzing clinical trials and identifying potential drug candidates. So AI is a truly life-saving technology. And AI can also help detect and prevent healthcare fraud, saving taxpayers millions of dollars. And similarly in banking, AI can monitor transactions to identify and flag fraudulent activity, protecting your finances. We've been doing this for years, and your credit card sees maybe is spending in some place that some store you don't normally go to, or you're in a different country, it'll flag that. You might get a call, it'll stop the transaction. So there's clear benefits to AI, but there's also risks. And Gen AI can be exploited to create sophisticated phishing emails, deep fakes, and malware. Gen AI can create convincing fake audio, video, and text to impersonate individuals and spread false information. We're seeing more and more of that today. And by the way, I just slipped in Gen AI, where I've only been talking about referencing AI, and there is a difference. I might have been using the terms interchangeably. A traditional AI analyzes and classifies existing information, and you may not be aware of it, but you're using it every day. If you have a smartphone, you probably have predictive text, provides the next word in the sentence. That's usually right. You probably use your camera on the phone, and the AI enhances the photos you take with your smartphone. You just thought you were becoming a better photographer, but AI is behind a lot of that. On the other hand, generative AI, or Gen AI, generates new content. Traditional AI doesn't do that. With its increasing use and prevalence, policymakers around the world, and maybe in this room, are now looking at whether and how to regulate AI. In the US, there's been countless congressional hearings on the subject and dozens of bills introduced in the House and Senate. I say dozens, it's probably hundreds. This is the #1 issue in Washington right now. About every committee in the Senate and the House has held hearings on it. Again, numerous bills introduced, but so far, there's been no agreement. No significant legislation has been enacted governing AI in Washington. But there's 50 states, and they've been acting too and holding hearings and considering things. And right now, California has the lead. There's been over 500 state bills introduced on AI. California has been at the forefront of AI governance, and it passed the nation's first law regulating AI just 2 months ago in September, providing a framework for transparency, safety, and public infrastructure. The European Union is also out front on this and established the EU Artificial Intelligence Act. That's a comprehensive legal framework emphasizing transparency, risk mitigation, and regulatory oversight across sectors. And that framework categorizes AI systems by risk levels and imposes strict compliance requirements, particularly for what's termed high-risk applications. And China has also adopted new rules governing AI. In fact, it was the world's first comprehensive restriction on deepfakes. And deepfakes is another topic we spent a whole session on. They've also introduced rules censoring the input and output of Gen AI models, and have tightened rules requiring tech companies to disclose extensive details about their algorithms. So lots going on in the legislative space, policymaking. Just a few months ago, Xi Jinping introduced an AI blueprint called AI Plus. The blueprint proclaims Beijing's intention to use AI to reshape the paradigm of human production and life. It's pretty bold proclamation. It aims for AI to be used in 70% of China's economy by 2027 and 90% by 2023. With the growth of AI use in China and globally, and sometimes misuse, this is an area that merits the attention of parliamentarians and policymakers in just about every country. And the Parliamentarian Forum will continue to discuss the issue at future forums. Those are my initial observations. I'm going to turn over to John Strand to do a deeper dive in this, and I think you've got a PowerPoint to go along with it. But thank you.